The day the earth stood still. It was supposed to be a normal day. People woke up to their alarms. The sun rose like it always had, and life buzzed along as usual. But then, at exactly 9:36 a.m., something unimaginable happened. Everything stopped. It started slowly, barely noticeable at first. Birds paused mid-flight, frozen like statues in the sky. Cars idled in the streets, but no engines hummed, no wheels turned. The wind ceased to blow, and the trees became eerily still, their leaves caught in mid-rustle. The world was holding its breath. Then came the silence, a suffocating, oppressive quiet that seemed to smother the earth. No voices, no sounds of bustling cities or distant highway hums. Even the ticking of clocks stopped, as if time itself had frozen in place. People tried to speak, but their voices stuck in their throats, as if swallowed by the thick, unnatural stillness. All over the world, people were trapped in a nightmare where nothing moved. Their thoughts raced, but their bodies were paralyzed. In the cities, millions of people stood motionless in the streets. Planes hovered in the sky, unmoving. Ships at sea sat in still waters, their sails caught in an invisible grip. And then, slowly, a terrifying realization crept in. It wasn't just that the earth had stopped. Something was watching. The first signs appeared in the sky. Massive, dark shapes hovered just beyond the clouds, shifting and undulating like living shadows. They didn't belong to this world, their outlines too alien, too unnatural to comprehend. The sky itself seemed to warp around them, bending reality in ways that made the air shimmer with unease. In small towns and sprawling cities alike, people stood frozen in place, their eyes moving, terrified, darting towards the horizon where the shadows began to descend. And then, from within the stillness, a low hum resonated. It wasn't sound in the traditional sense. It vibrated through the bones, through the very core of the earth, a feeling more than a noise, a feeling of dread. The world's watchers, those dark, immense shapes, began to feed. The process was slow and excruciating. One by one, people felt their energy drained from them, their life force slipping away like water being siphoned from a glass. The frozen faces of those standing around contorted in silent agony. Eyes widened in horror as they witnessed each other slowly fading, their skin paling, their bodies withering into skeletal forms as their essence was consumed. Some tried to scream, but no sound emerged. They were prisoners in their own bodies, forced to watch as the world was devoured. Hours passed, though no one could truly tell. Time had no meaning anymore. As the dark entities hovered lower and closer, the last vestiges of life on earth began to flicker. Plants withered, animals crumbled into dust, and the oceans seemed to evaporate in an instant. The air grew thin and cold, like the breath of a dying planet. But then, something far worse happened. Just when it seemed that every living thing had been consumed, the shadows began to stir. From their inky black forms, tendrils extended toward the lifeless bodies below. The earth trembled, as if something deep beneath its surface was awakening, responding to the call of these unearthly beings. And then the bodies, withered, empty, nothing but skin and bone, began to move. In every city, every town, every village, the dead began to rise, but not as themselves. Their hollow eyes gleamed with an unnatural light, their twisted limbs jerking unnervingly as they followed some unseen command. The once dead marched as one, moving toward the dark entities with slow, deliberate steps, like puppets on strings. But they weren't coming to serve, they were coming to destroy. The entities in the sky shifted, reacting to this unexpected rebellion. The hum grew louder, now a shriek that tore through the stillness. The earth shook, and the once frozen sky began to darken with storm clouds that churned violently. Lightning cracked through the blackness, illuminating the twisted, unholy army below. The dead, now, something more, something beyond human, rose against the watchers, their very presence an affront to the unnatural power that had consumed them. And in that moment, the earth, which had stood still for so long, seemed to roar back to life. The final battle had begun. No one knows what happened next. The survivors, those who remained untouched in deep bunkers or isolated corners of the world, speak only of the silence that followed. When they emerged, the earth was nothing more than a barren, lifeless wasteland. The skies were empty, the stars hidden behind a permanent veil of blackness. No one knows who won, whether it was the entities or the dead. But one thing is certain, the earth, for all its silence, for all its stillness, would never be the same. And somewhere, in the darkest corners of the universe, something waits, watching, ready to begin again.